Lionel Messi made history by winning a record 8th Ballon d'Or. It was a glittering ceremony last night. The great and the good in the world of football were all there. Is this a fitting end? Now, I think I know what's coming from you this morning. You're not exactly fired up by this. Is it a fitting end to the player of this generation?
Yes, if it were a Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah, absolutely. If you're giving an award for a body of work, it's very difficult to argue that in that conversation would absolutely be at the very top of it Lionel Messi because of his remarkable achievements in domestic football and his carrying of a nation into a World Cup final, and then in previous tournaments giving them an opportunity to even participate at times because of the level that he's brought to the table. But when you're isolating it down, saying the best player in the year, I know that the achievements in the World Cup, 6 games, 6 goals, and all that went with that.
7 goals in 7 matches.
7 goals
in
in 7 games, yeah. So I look at that,
including 2 in the final.
I understand that, but are we saying that the Ballon d'Or gets won on individual games? So we take out the World Cup final. We say you win a Ballon d'Or because of your contribution to an individual game.
Well, it's the pinnacle, isn't it?
It is
the pinnacle. This was a big story of the year in football.
Over the years, I mean, what is the basis for awarding a Ballon d'Or? Is it for the best body of work over a year, the world's best player in that year? Yeah, and is that demarked by
Was it Messi?
I would suggest not. I would suggest his domestic form at PSG wasn't particularly good. His period of 2 years at PSG resulted in 22 goals in 58 games. This isn't the Messi that we've seen before. This is a tilt. Like when everyone was looking at the World Cup saying, it's Messi's World Cup, well, we want Messi to win. I didn't bleeding want Messi to win. I couldn't care less if Messi wouldn't won or not.
I was in your earshot when you were telling
Messi's
people
an individual footballer that plays for a different country, and I have no vested interest or concern about whether it's Argentina and a fitting end to Messi.
The brilliance of the story was Messi winning the World Cup. That was the missing piece of the jigsaw, like when Maradona first did it in 1986. This was the moment for Messi.
But does the world evolve around Messi?
And because it put him apart from anybody else.
Fine. Is that the qualification for a Ballon d'Or? So you can do nothing all season, metaphorically speaking, and then you can rock up to a World Cup, have a meaningful World Cup or a European Championship, and that wins you. If that is the criteria, then absolutely Lionel Messi is the Ballon d'Or.
That's it. But in winning the World Cup with Argentina and playing such a part in it, did he not prove beyond anybody else that he is the player for the big occasion? He is the biggest player in any arena when it comes to the big occasions.
Is that the criteria for awarding a Ballon d'Or?
Well, it's got to. That's got to add up to being the world's best, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. But if you're looking at a body of work and you're saying over an entire season, one moment in time or one passage of time denotes you being the best player in the world football, then yes, on that argument, I would concur that Lionel Messi, because of the achievement of topping off his career, which was remarkable at Barcelona, inauspicious at Paris Saint-Germain, economically rewarding beyond his wildest dreams, everything that goes with it.
Phenomenal
with his career landing in America, which is the end of his football career.
Sensational in Qatar.
And his performances in Qatar in a side that lost 2-1 to Saudi Arabia, where he was anonymous. I can make these arguments. I'm not trying to be mean-spirited. I'm trying to be a pragmatist in the conversation. I don't get racked with sentimentality. I don't sit there like others do and say, well, it must be a fitting end to his career. I could care less if Lionel Messi won a World Cup.
No, it's just getting the right name on the trophy, and his was it.
And if that's what people believe...
But you don't think?
No, I don't.
Whose was? Just for the record.
I think there were other arguments in there.
Who would you have had?
Well, I made the argument about Erling Haaland yesterday, and people I could see on social media going, well, anyone can score the amount of goals that he scores playing for Man City, but no one else has done it before. And there have been other strikers at Manchester City that have had the opportunity. Haaland adapting, coming into a side that wins a Champions or wins a treble and scoring a record amount of goals is something to me, in previous years, that would have been on the conversation, wouldn't it?
Right.
In this year, because of the World Cup, it's not on the conversation.
Right.
So I'm happy if most people agree that Lionel Messi should have got the Ballon d'Or. I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. I'm not trying to be different. I'm not trying to be different to everyone else just for the sake of being different.
Yeah, right.
I look at it and go, okay. It feels to me that that's a lifetime award. If someone was saying to me the Ballon d'Or this year goes to someone like Erling Haaland, but we are creating an exceptional award because of the nature of this man's body of work over his 16-year career, culminating in a World Cup. You have an individual award that's something different than we've ever awarded before. I could accept that.
Well, what about Finn? There's a great message. Simon, you're missing the point. Messi dragged Argentina to the World Cup. Take him out, Argentina maybe don't qualify for it. Take Haaland out, City likely to do the treble, and maybe with less goals.
And that's a coherent argument. I mean, you can make the same argument for 1986 from Maradona dragged Argentina to the World Cup. Absolutely, I can see that argument. If that's the qualification for Ballon d'Or, then I'm happy to acquiesce to the views of others.
There's no name in that one, but does Simon have a poster of Ronaldo on his bedroom wall? I would doubt it.
Not after that interview he did with Piers Morgan, I don't know, because that was a self-indulgent whiner.
Do you know, though, it begs the question, does England fail to produce world-class players? I mean, when was the last time? In the last 53 years of this prize, the Ballon d'Or, England has produced 3 winning years. Kevin Keegan in 1978-79 and Michael Owen in 2001.
The characterisation of that conversation is slightly unfair because I think we use world-class and we spatter it around like confetti, and world-class is a very distinct and small category, and we have produced some players that arguably over the last 20 years have knocked on that door.
Knocked on the door. Who's been England's Messi?
Harry Kane. I think you could put Steven Gerrard in that conversation.
Harry Kane has been England's Messi.
I think to some extent
Steven Gerrard has been England's Messi.
Were the goals that Harry Kane has scored for England? Record goal scorer in a record amount of goals that he scored in the time that he's played for England. You can look at players like Wayne Rooney. We're talking about world class. You made the observation about world class, right? So I would suggest that at times in his career, Wayne Rooney could have had that conversation. I would suggest that times in his career, Steven Gerrard had it. Rio Ferdinand as a centre back would have argument for that. But centre backs and goalkeepers, and we've had world class goalkeepers as well, don't get denoted for these sort of awards. It's only centre forwards and strikers.
You're just not having Messi, are you?
No, of course I am. I don't. Listen, I'm
not sure you're having anything Argentina. That it boils down to that maybe as well.
Oh, not at all. Ironically, one of the first football strips I was ever bought was the 1978 Argentinian World Cup strip that my dad bought me. He bought me 2 kits. He bought me the Irish strip because of Georgie Best, and he bought me the Kempes 78
You were Mario
kit.
Kempes.
I was Mario Kempes, or more Leopold Luque, I think.
Okay, let's put it out there, though. Leopold Luque, I remember him. Yeah. When was the last world-class player produced by England? Have England produced a world-class player? I mean, in the last 53 years of this prize, the Ballon d'Or, as I said, Kevin Keegan has won it in 78 and 79. Michael Owen won it in 2001. When was the last world-class player produced here in England? And where are you on Lionel Messi? Is this the right and proper end to Messi's quite phenomenal career? Was it right last night that he won the Ballon d'Or for a record-extending 8th time last night?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.